How are we? Lovely sunny day. It's actually currently 1 degree. It's quite cold out here. Two little apologies. One, forgot a hat, so the hair's going to be a bit of a mess. Two, is a little bit windy, which isn't going to help that situation. Hopefully there's not too much wind noise on the mic. Today's video, we're going to review the Azra RTX Macna heated glove. First of all, if you don't know a lot about Macna, it's a Dutch brand that make a lot of motorcycle gear, from boots, trousers, jackets, gloves. Heated, not heated, full range, go and check them out online. But today's video, we're just going to be focusing on the Macna RTX heated glove. So it's a winter heated glove, fully insulated, made from mainly goat leather and textile materials. So they're a CE level 1 garment with protection across the back of the fingers, across the knuckles, and some palm protection as well. And the overall build quality of the glove is very good, good stitching, and like I say, a good amount of protection for a heated glove, which is quite rare. Some heated gloves, they don't really have any protection at all. They're just heated, so they're not great. I know some of them are meant to go inside another glove, but these are their standalone own glove. So they're advertised as a dual powered unit, so you can run the 7.4 volt battery in the cuff, which this model has, or you can run it to the Macna jacket if you've got the jacket, which then has its own battery, which is a 12 volt battery, or you can run it straight to the bike. Both have pros, both have cons. We'll go into those in a bit. It also has the Rain-Tex waterproof membrane in these gloves and a water exhaust, which is new to me. It does sort of work. I'll go into that when we talk about the waterproofness of the glove. If we go back to the back of the glove, the power on button and the battery indicator are also located on the back, and these gloves do link to the Macna app on your phone, which I'll cover in a bit. To make using that app a little bit easier, we have a touch tip on the fingers, which does work if you've got the right angle. It might just be me. It was a bit hard to work, but we got there in the end. Also on the index fingers, we have the rubber blade for cleaning your visor, which is flexible, so I didn't know if it was going to be any good, but I was in some pretty heavy rain, and they're really good, to be fair. Size ranges, we're going from a small to a 4XL, so it'll accommodate anyone's hand. I'm currently wearing a large. Just to explain how I've been using the glove the last couple of weeks, riding to and from work around 100 miles a week, down to about -2. It's got pretty cold. I've tested them as just a heated glove, just a winter glove, so no heat, with and without my heated grips in all situations, just to see which one suits best. So from my testing, the heating core runs around all of the digits on the finger, not on the back, not on the front, which at first I was a bit sceptical whether that was going to keep my hand warm, as I get a lot of wind chill on the back. So the first test I've done, just full power. I've only ran all tests in full power on the glove. They do have 4 power modes in the glove. I've only ran them on full power because if it was too hot, you could always turn it down. But I thought if I test them to the full heat and they're not hot enough, then that's not good enough for me. So just the heating element on the glove, my hands never got cold and they never felt too hot, because other gloves I've tested before, you get hot spots in your hands and you get cold spots, which is a bit strange. Some of the hand is freezing cold and some of it's burning hot. Very uncomfortable, and that's what's really put me off heated gloves in the past. But these seem to heat your hand perfectly from just the core around the fingers. You don't really notice it's warming your hand up, but your hand doesn't feel cold. But as soon as you take that glove off, you know your hand's lovely and warm. In between your fingers is lovely and warm. And again, you don't get any sort of hot spots in there. Tried with the heated grips. With the heated grips and the heat, it's way too hot in there. Your hand gets super clammy, super sweaty, super sticky. It's not very comfortable. It's way too hot, even at below 0 degrees. It's way too hot with both on. If you are riding with just a battery and you're not powered by the bike, your battery ends up running out, but you've still got heated grips. Wasn't too bad. A sort of half an hour journey, your hand wasn't getting cold, because as a standalone glove, they're very insulated, so do keep your hands quite warm anyway. So with your heated grips, it just gives you that little bit of extra. I do have handguards obviously on here, which does help as well to stop the wind chill. But with just the heated grips, after half an hour, I did start getting a few cold spots on the back, but there was no heat in the glove, so I wasn't expecting it to be fully warm across the back. But it was okay for about half an hour until it started getting a little bit too cold. Again, in between the finger and thumb mainly, getting a cold breeze in there. Back to the battery. It's 7.4 volts. It doesn't last a massive amount of time on full power. I got around an hour and a half to an hour and 50 minutes with it on full power. So for me, I'd probably go for the wide option, because commuting to and from work, it's around half an hour for me. So I'd have to charge them every day if I wanted heated gloves to and from work. If I was going to buy them long term, I definitely would wire them to a jacket that was heated or straight to the bike's battery, just because I think you haven't got to charge it, you haven't got to mess around, it's just ready to go. The one problem I do have with wiring myself to a bike is I will forget I am wired to a bike. I will stand off, walk away, still connected, pull the bike, snap a cable. Never a good idea, but I still think I'd run being wired to the bike over batteries, just for that reason. You'd get used to being plugged in after a small amount of time, I should imagine. But back to the power modes, like I say, there was 4 power modes in there, so it's 4 different levels of power. So white is your lowest heat setting, blue was the next level up, purple was the next level up from that, and then red is the hottest. Like I say, only ran it on red. So let's have a quick look at the app. So you can link your jacket to your gloves together, any gear in any way, shape or form you want to link together, you can. So if your hands are a little bit too hot, but your body's starting to get a bit of a chill, you can turn your gloves down, put your jacket up, or you can just link all of them together and just have them all on full power all the time for them very, very cold days. Super simple, easy to use app. Again, the touch tip on the finger does help you if you're riding, just to turn everything on and off instead of holding buttons, and obviously if you've got the jacket, holding buttons everywhere. Down to waterproof performance, quite impressed with them, to be fair. I done a few days of torrential downpours on the way to work, and I thought my hands are going to get wet, because usually when you wear gloves, there's a certain part of it that will leak through always, and then you get that horrible feeling of a very, very heavy, wet glove on your hand, which is where the water exhaust comes in. Obviously, when you've got the glove on, the membrane is underneath all of the textile, so the textile sort of holds all that water. Water gets trapped in between layers, but with the water exhaust, it all works its way to the back and sort of all just starts trickling out the back of the glove, which when you're riding along at about 70 miles an hour, you can sort of see a stream of water exiting the back of the glove. So yeah, a couple of days, really heavy rain, my hands were bone dry. Whether they're going to stay waterproof over a long period of time, I don't know, because I've only had them a couple of weeks. But so far, so good. Super impressed with the waterproofness of these gloves. If we have a quick look at the cuffs, so the cuffs, there's 2 cinch points. You can go over the jacket, wrist strap and the cuff. The battery is in the cuff. Just a quick note on that, you don't really notice that's there, to be honest. You sort of put it in there, you actually forget the battery's in there. You don't feel it's in there, it doesn't irritate you, it doesn't interfere with anything, which is a big plus. You can also run the glove underneath a jacket. Either way, it will fit in both ways, which does help. I always tend to run cuffs over jackets, because sometimes if you run them underneath the jacket, you get a bit of a wind chill going up your arm if it's not quite cinched down properly. So yeah, always run it over the top, and it fits over all the jackets I've got, including this Oxford Advanced jacket, which has got big, thick cuffs on it as it's a winter jacket. So thinner jackets be no problem for this at all. If we look at the construction of the glove itself, there's not many panels on there, to be honest. So you haven't got many places where them seams can sort of burst on a slide. Down to the fitment of the glove itself, like I say, this is a large on my hand, fits absolutely perfect. No finger gaps in the top of any fingers for me, no tight spots in the top of the fingers or thumb for me. It feels really, really nice and comfortable. Slightly pre-curved fingers to help with the grip, but super, super comfortable glove, like I say. They are a little bit too thick for me personally. I'm not a massive fan of the winter glove. And with the palm, super grippy bit of goat skin in there, no slip at all, even in the torrential rain. Didn't feel like you were losing grip on your grips at all. The overall quality of the glove is super high. Nothing feels cheap, nothing feels nasty. Everything just works well together as a package. Would I buy these gloves? Yes, I would. I think they are probably the best heated glove I've tried out there on the market. They outperform pretty much everything I've tried before. You don't get the hot spots, you don't get the cold spots. The battery doesn't irritate you, doesn't interfere with you. They are a protective glove. They're not just a glove that's heated with no protection at all. Overall, super, super happy with them. I do have a few negatives on them. One being the touch tip is a little bit weird. I don't know whether it's me, I don't know whether it's the glove, I don't know whether it's my phone, I'm not too sure. Sometimes you press it, it doesn't work. Sometimes you press it in exactly the same way and it works. Not too sure why. Second of all, the battery. The battery doesn't last a massive amount of time. For me, I need that battery to last a little bit longer, to not be charging that battery every day. I understand why the battery is small, so it does fit in the glove and it is comfortable and it doesn't interfere. I understand why, therefore that's why I'd go through the 12 volt route not with the battery. Some people, the smaller battery isn't a negative, but some people it is. If you're going on a long journey over an hour and a half to 2 hours and you're going to rely on the batteries, they are going to run out. So yeah, I'd go with a 12 volt over the battery. Did see that as a bit of a negative. One small issue I did have with the glove was the battery indicator and the power level indicator on the back of the glove. Whilst riding with the glove in the daytime, you don't notice they're there. You know, it's just a light that tells you what power your glove's on and how much power it's got left. But whilst riding at night, holding onto the grips, all I could see out of the corner of my eye was a blue light and a red light that kept flashing. Very distracting and very off-putting. I think if you own the gloves for long enough, you'd just get used to that light being there and it wouldn't bother you that much. Another negative for me, they are very thick. Again, this is all down to personal preference. Whilst I'm riding, I like to have a thinner glove. I always run my Nox hand-droid glove throughout the whole year. And I do like to sort of feel the controls a bit more. With a thicker glove, your brake lever doesn't feel the same, clutch lever doesn't feel the same, the buttons don't feel quite as tactile, they feel a little bit fluffy, it's a little bit strange. So yeah, that's just one thing that puts me off this sort of glove. Again, that is massively down to my personal preference on a thicker glove. I run the Nox Handroids Mark V all year round with my heated grips. For my commute, yes, they're not very warm, but with my heated grips on a short commute, my hands do get a little bit cold, but they're not too bad, they're okay. 20 minutes, half an hour in, I'm okay. Long journeys, I do have a pair of thicker gloves. They're not heated, but those with heated grips seem to work perfectly fine for me. Again, I've gone into the negatives, but I think most of that is personal preference, to be honest. So these gloves retail from around £250 to £300, depending on what power option and what route you want to go down with your power. They are available at motorcentral.co.uk or in store with Motorcentral in Hinckley. So that is the review for the Macna RTX winter heated glove. More reviews coming in the future. Take care.